started with silence. Not the peaceful kind that settles in after a long day or the quiet that hums through the house on a lazy Sunday morning. No, this was the kind of silence that grows in the spaces where something used to be. The kind that echoes even when you're not making a sound. My name is Helen Ward. I turned 73 this past spring. I live in the house my husband built when we were both foolish and full of hope. The windows still creak. The floors still remember every step he took. And I try not to forget. But the morning everything changed was not marked by a crash or a scream. It was marked by the absence of everything familiar. I woke up that day to a house that felt unfamiliar. Cold despite the sun peeking through the curtains. I reached for the lamp on my bedside, but the bulb had blown out. But I thought, William would have replaced it already. But of course, William had been gone for 10 years now. Cancer took him slowly. Then all at once, I sat up, robe slipping from my shoulders, and stared into the emptiness of the room. It looked the same, but it wasn't. Something was wrong. The coffee maker didn't work. The kitchen radio played only static. And the mail hadn't arrived. These may seem like small things, but when you're older and you live alone, the smallest things are the anchors. The way the postman waves through the window. The steady hum of the refrigerator. The scratch of a pen against a crossword. I wandered the house in my slippers like a ghost of myself. Every photo frame had shifted slightly, as though the walls had exhaled overnight. Even the garden seemed to be holding its breath. I stepped outside, expecting to see Mrs. Kellerman walking her dog. But the street was empty. Not quiet. Me. I wasn't frightened, not yet. Just confused. It was only when I looked into the mirror that fear began to creep in. I saw myself. The lines I'd earned. The skin he once touched. But my eyes, they didn't look like mine. They looked like someone waiting for something that never came. I sat by the window until afternoon became evening. I didn't turn on the television. I didn't want noise. I wanted an answer. And then I found the letter. It had been slipped under my door. Cream-colored. Unmarked. I opened it with trembling hands. Sometimes the world must disappear for you to see yourself clearly. That was it. No signature. No clue. Just that one sentence that felt like it had been pulled from somewhere inside me. I read it again and again. And then I cried. Not the kind of crying that comes from pain. The kind that comes from recognition. 'Cause I had disappeared. Long before this day. After William died, I stopped painting. I stopped baking. I stopped calling our children. I stopped reaching for the things that made me feel real. Became efficient. Giddy. Predictable. Grief had turned me into a shadow of the woman he loved. I had filled my days with ritual but not meaning. That night I lit candles. Real ones. Not the fake electric kind I'd grown used to. I sat in front of the canvas I hadn't touched in over a decade. And I painted. Not well. Not masterfully. But truthfully. And the next morning I woke to birdsong. The street was alive again. The fridge hummed. The radio played an old jazz tune. And the mail had arrived. There was no trace of the letter. But I didn't need it anymore. Because I had remembered who I was. Called my daughter. We spoke for 2 hours. About nothing. About everything. I walked to the market. I bought peaches. The man at the counter told me he remembered me from years ago. Said I used to laugh more. I said, I will again. And I meant it. Now when I wake I don't expect silence. But I don't fear it either. Because it was in the quiet that I found myself. And in the absence of everything I discovered I hadn't truly been gone. I had just stopped listening.